Hi, I'm Donna, the Transdimensional Twin Flame and the Afterlife Artist. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know why I call myself that. It's because I am a twin flame whose divine counterpart is actually in the spirit dimension. So we are now interdimensionally connected in divine union. And I am able to bilocate to higher dimensions, the upper astral, you would call it. It's the same place that the children, the autistic children that are very psychic go to. If you've watched the telepathy tapes and you hear them talking about the hill, it's not just those kids that can go there. Anybody who has developed the psychic skills and the energetic mastery to go there can do it. But there are some barriers. One is that your energy must be pure and clean, and your soul must not have distortions, because only the pure energy gets to the other side. This is basically the other side of the veil. It's where your loved ones go when they transition. You can actually have a life on the other side of the veil with your loved ones in spirit and your spirit guides. And I know because I am doing that. I am interdimensional or transdimensional. So I compiled a list quite some time ago, when I was in the more beginner stages of my journey, about how to communicate with your loved ones in spirit. Like, so basically some practical tips that can help you get there. In reality, this takes a lot of meditation, shadow work to make sure you don't have limiting beliefs. You have to believe this is happening, or that it's possible, and that you can do it. And then, of course, there is another factor involved, which is your person in spirit is still a person. You don't command them to do this. If they want to communicate with you, they will. And I would say it's very likely, if you want to communicate with someone in spirit, they probably also want to communicate with you. I don't see why they wouldn't, I think that our desires are a lot of times just indicators of our paths in life. So I'm just going to read some of this list of some beginner tips for how to establish communication with someone in a higher dimension, like the realm of spirit, or the upper astral, or the fifth dimension, you could call it. That's where our loved ones in spirit go when they first transition. So here's what I'm going to read. I've not read these in a while. There's actually several pages. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to start reading. Your emotional state dictates your experience with your loved one in spirit, just like it does in every other aspect of your life. So focus on gratitude for them. Sounds like a no-brainer, but actually you have to consciously do this, because if you're focused only on what you need, what you think you've lost, or if you have unresolved issues with them or anger with them, you need to work that out with them. Work it out within yourself. Because they are people just like us. They are not spirits. They are not entities, okay? They're not ghosts. Those are wrong terms. They are people who have a higher vibration now because they don't need the encumbrance of the physical body. That physical experience for them is done for this particular lifetime. But they are still themselves. They're still themselves with their same personalities, their same likes, dislikes, everything. So your person in spirit didn't just suddenly turn into an angel. They're not angels. They're also not spirits. They want us to call them people because they are. Okay, so that's one thing you really have to understand about this. You're not trying to... I was thinking about this the other day. Yesterday, actually. I heard a story about somebody in spirit coming back to visit their relative. It was somebody's aunt. And they were only coming to give them a nice, positive, helpful message. They said, hey, everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. And for somebody like me, that's a dream come true, to have your loved one in spirit come and give you that reassurance. But for these people, they decided to get some kind of exorcist in there and get that person out of there. And I'm like, that's your aunt. You just acted like your aunt is a monster that you have to expel. First of all, you could have just asked her not to do that again. She's a person. She would have understood you. Second of all, she didn't suddenly turn into a demon because she transitioned across the veil. No more than you will when you transition across the veil. If you're a demon now, you're going to stay one. There's plenty of people who fall into that evil category. But if you're not suddenly going to become like this evil entity spirit, just because you come back and visit somebody on Earth. So to treat them like they are some kind of unwanted malady, I think is just heartbreaking for them. And I wish that people would stop doing that. Okay? So I'm going to try to rehumanize and speak for the rights and the emotions of people in spirit, because we are grossly misinformed and underinformed about what's going on there and what they need. They need us to treat them like people because they're people. Okay. So my second point here is that thoughts create thought forms, manifestations with density and color and texture, etc. And so imagine what thoughts you want to spend your, what does it say? What thoughts you want to send to your loved one. Make sure they, okay. Okay, let me reread this. Okay. Their thoughts create thought forms, which are manifestations with density, color, texture, etc. They can become physical. That's how we manifest here. So imagine what thoughts you want to send to your loved one and make sure that they are a gift that you want this person to open. Do you want, like, your thoughts are like a letter that you're sending to this person. They can hear you. Do you want your thoughts to be full of bad things or really positive, good things? I would say if you really want to give your loved one something, give them the love that you have for them and remind yourself and them of this love that you still have, because it should still be there. Okay? The next point is that your beliefs will dictate your experience with after-death communication. So ask yourself, what are your beliefs and how might they be helping versus hindering your communication? And this is the case for everything in life. Your beliefs will dictate how successful you are, or vice versa. Your beliefs will dictate how far you go in life. It will dictate what you can do versus what you can't do. Everything is about your belief. There's nothing more important than your own beliefs about reality, because you're going to create that reality with those beliefs. So this is no different. You have to believe, and you have to examine what your beliefs are. If you don't consciously know what your true core beliefs are, that's where most people need to stop and do some shadow work. So you can discover your own core beliefs and change the ones that don't suit you. You can update your beliefs. So the next point is engage with your loved one. Okay. Ask them to give you a sign. Let them choose the sign. You don't have to control every part of this situation. Let your loved one choose the sign. And so, like, the first thing that pops into your mind when you ask them for a sign, take that as them telling you what the sign is. And keep your eye out for that thing in the following days and weeks. And for me, when this happened to me, Chris had just transitioned across the veil. I asked him for a sign, and in my head, in my own inner voice, I heard the phrase Purple Heart. It didn't mean anything to me, and I was frustrated, and I thought, first of all, purple hearts are kind of vague. You're going to see purple hearts around. It would be better for me if it was some kind of really special sign that was just ours. But I was correct in not dismissing what I heard, because it turned out to be extremely relevant. And a couple days later, I figured out what it was, and it was our cat's purple heart-shaped name tags, which I wasn't thinking about. and our cats were the loves of our lives. So yes, it was extremely meaningful. And that voice in my head that I heard was actually him. Later, after I practiced more, my clairaudience has improved to where I just hear him talking like it's his voice. It's not in my inner voice anymore. And that's what you can get with practice. Okay. So the next point is make after death communication a game. Ask them to make you laugh. They love it when we're happy. It's the truth. Just play with this like it's any other little scavenger hunt that you're going to play. The next one is gratitude. So have gratitude for your loved one's efforts to communicate with you. And it's the highest vibration to be in to receive more. Gratitude is where it's at. It's a very high vibration. When you are in gratitude, you are in abundance mentality versus lack mentality. You can't really be in an abundant state of your life when your mind is in lack. You know, you won't see the abundance around you, even if it exists. You will dismiss abundance when it comes to you because you're in lack. You won't think you're doing this, but you're going to be doing it anyway. So really, a gratitude practice is important. Write down all the things that you're grateful for about your person in spirit. And write down, if you already have had communication and you want more, write all of it down. Keep a journal and write down all the things that they have done for you. And then read them every so often and remind yourself all the things that they've done. And you will receive more. The more you focus on gratitude, the more you have to be grateful for. So the next one, learn to be present and quiet. Your loved one will do subtle things that, what does that say? That you will miss if you don't slow down and learn to feel and sense the subtlety. So this is where I talk about meditation, and not even just meditation, but just sitting in quiet contemplation, quiet in silence. Meditation is good because it trains you to get out of your left brain and your thinking mind and learn to just be. Being in the present moment with no sound, no thoughts, and nothing that's coming from externally to you, but only what's inside. And then once you get clear like that, once you understand what it's like to have calm seas inside yourself, there's no thoughts, there's no distractions, there's not, other people's beliefs and your worries about the day and all these things coming into play. It's just you sensing yourself and what it's like to be inside yourself. And then you can start to sense the non-physical presences in your life, and the if there's spirit guides that you want to talk to, you can start sensing them, your loved ones in spirit, all that stuff. But that only comes when you've learned to be quiet, which means you've got to learn to meditate. It's the most important part. It's the part that I usually start with when I talk about this. The shadow work part, where you learn about your own limiting beliefs. The part where you learn about your own self-development. That and the meditation are the two most important things. Without the foundation of those two things, the rest of this really doesn't happen. So find a way to get quiet and learn what it feels like to just be silent in your own mind, silent and still in your body. And then you will start to perceive subtle thoughts coming from spirit, words, images in your clairvoyance, or clairsentience, which is sensations. Don't assume that you know how it's going to come. Don't focus on any one of the psychic gifts. You may not have the one that you want the most, but you may have a different gift that's even better that you wouldn't know unless you stopped and allowed it to emerge. So you've got to be quiet and meditative. Okay. The next one, let's see. Well, this is again about meditation. Meditation. Hold on. Learn to be present. Okay. The next point was about meditation anyway. Meditation is the foundation of any great after-death communication relationship. To have consistent communication, you must be accustomed to going within yourself. Just like I said. The next point is try to have a set time to communicate at least once a day. Spirit likes dedication, and they have schedules too. I was told this. Everybody working in spirit will tell you they do like consistency. They like it when you have a set time. It shows that you're dedicated, and you get into a rhythm, and your brain says, okay, we're about to practice this now. It knows that every morning at 9 a.m. you're going to practice channeling or meditating or connecting or just being quiet or automatic writing or whatever it is. It helps you get into a rhythm, and it helps prompt your psyche, that you're going to be doing this. And, to turn off, that it's time to turn off your left brain, turn on your right brain, if you want to think of it like that. Turn on your intuition and turn off your thinking mind. It really helps to do it on a regular basis at a regular time. It helps the spirit side of it, but it helps your side too. All right. So then be consistent and dedicated with these practices. If you want after-death communication, you have to commit to learning the new language. Your loved one can't do your half of the work. It's a two-way street, like every other great relationship. And I say this all the time. People usually sort of, especially when you're in grief, you feel powerless and you just want help. But once you've gotten over the initial hardest grief, if you can stop trying to just passively ask for your person in spirit to do all this communication for you, and learn that you've got to do the work as well. You're both learning a new language. It's not just them, it's you. They have to actually learn this as well. They don't just get to the other side and know what to do. They have to learn if they want to. And that's why my partner Chris in spirit actually teaches people on the other side how to do this. Because he told me that everybody wants what we have and they don't know how to have it, even on the other side. So you've got to be dedicated and do your part. This is a two-way street, just like every other relationship. So don't drop the ball and think that your person in spirit is just going to carry everything, because it's not fair to them. And it's not going to work. Okay, the next one. Let's see. Got 2 more pages of these. Okay, the next one. Tune into your loved one in spirit and tune out the cynics and the skeptics. Your experience is real, and your loved one deserves to be acknowledged for their efforts. I can't stress this enough. You've just got to go with this and stop listening to other people. That's all there is to it. All right, next one is relax. If you're anxious about getting after-death communication, you can block it. You need to be calm and open so their vibration can reach you. Their vibration is high. So anything that's on the lower vibrational end of the scale, like fear, doubt, grief, judgment, those things don't work with a higher vibrational being like your loved one in spirit. So if you really want them, you've got to raise your vibration and try to come together in the middle. They lower theirs, you raise yours, you come together in the middle. They can't do it alone. They really can't. Okay, next is after-death communication happens via all of your senses. Feeling chills, tingles, well-being, having sudden images, memories, or songs pop into your mind can be your loved one doing it. So you've got to learn the language. What is a nudge? What does it mean when I want to click on a song that I don't even want to hear? What does it mean when I turn down a street I've never been on before? It means you're not overthinking it. If you get an urge to go somewhere, do something, whatever, just do it and see what happens. A lot of times they are subtly nudging us in a direction, and we are too busy in our minds to notice. A lot of things that come into your thoughts are not your thoughts. Your guides and your spirit people, they are influencing you all the time. If you don't know this yet, it's just because you've never been told that, and you've never stopped to understand it. It's our thoughts are not all coming from us. A lot of this comes from your higher self and your guides and loved ones in spirit that are trying to help you. That's why you can't really be egoic and take complete credit for all of your creative ideas. None of us create art or anything else creative without the help from the non-physical, because none of us are alone. We always come with guides. And inspiration comes from the non-physical. It comes from the goddess. And you're just like an antenna or a tuner that translates what you're getting from the higher realms into a physical form. But it's not you. It's not your brain. The human brain doesn't do that. The human brain is just the hardware. The software is the spirit energy that infuses all of us. That's creativity. So like after death communication could happen in any way, in any form of these senses. All of your physical senses have non-physical counterparts, right? So you can see, but you might see something clairvoyantly. You can hear, well, you might hear something with clairaudience. You can feel, you might feel all kinds of things with clairsentience. Or you might just know something. If you just know something that you shouldn't know, that's claircognizance. So every single physical sense has a non-physical counterpart that you're going to use to do this. Okay. And the next one is be open and don't, what does that say? Don't pin yourself. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Be open. Don't pin yourself with narrow ideas of how your after-death communication should happen. I don't know why I said the word pin. Anyway, don't have a narrow mind about how your communication should happen. Don't have a narrow mind about what it'll feel like or what your psychic abilities are. It may not look like that. So just be open-minded, okay? Now we're on the last page, and I'm going to talk about signs. Here are some common ways that you can know you're getting communication or a sign. Chills, tingles, visions, music, memories, a feeling of warmth, overwhelming love, well-being, euphoria, spontaneous healing, dream visitations, subtle nudges, synchronicities, windfalls, hearing your name or voice, or other unexplained sounds coming from nowhere. Objects moving, or electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs. Also ITC. I just forgot the word. Transcommunication. Instrumental transcommunication. It's where person and spirit can use your electronics. So there's a million different ways that can happen. So let's see. This is an important one too, okay? If you have a relationship with this person in spirit that was complicated, you've got to heal that relationship. So heal your relationship. If you have lingering issues, anger, or resentment, you need to work on that the same way you would if they were embodied. So you still got to work out all your stuff, just like you would if they were here in the physical. Because those unresolved emotions will get in the way of your communication. So, let's see. After death communication is a spiritual journey regardless of your spiritual beliefs or lack of. We are spirit incarnating as humans temporarily. Your loved one is back in their natural spirit state. Okay. Now I've read my full list. And I just happened upon this notebook, and that's why I was going to go ahead and put this into a video, because I don't think I ever have. And I get questions all the time about, like, oh, how do you communicate across the veil or bilocate or do any of these interdimensional things? And I have to say, it's complicated. There's a lot of ways, and it involves dedication and years of working on myself, shadow work, and having a spiritual practice of meditation. So that's just step 1 and 2. But then after that, there's so many other things that you can do. But I can't summarize this in a Facebook comment or a messenger message. I post to this channel because I'm leaving all of my information here for people to find when they are ready and willing to find it. It's not something I can just tell you about and you'll understand. What I'm trying to tell you is how to find it for yourself, because that's the only way you'll ever find it. I can't train you how to do this other than what I'm telling you. The work is yours to do. I'm not going to teach a class about this because I don't need to teach a class to teach you how to meditate. If you meditate and do what I just told you, you'll be having after death communication and you will open up your psychic abilities naturally, and you don't need a class. I'm not trying to make money off of you. I'm trying to tell you how to do what I did. And it's doable, but you have to put in the work, and there's no way around it. And people who ask me, how did I do all this? And then they want me to just tell them some kind of short formula, and there isn't one. This doesn't happen to most people because it's not average. My life is not normal. I'm not an average person. And I put in long, hard hours, years and years and years and years of work. My awakening was 11 years ago when I started talking to my twin flame. And he puts in the same amount of work that I do, if not more, on his side of the veil. So first, if you want this, you have to have 2 people that are both wanting it the same amount. And then you both have to do the work. And then it will work. It will work. You're not going to fail if you do the work. And that's what I'm going to keep saying in all my videos because it's the truth. There is no 5-step process to suddenly being clairvoyant, clairaudient, telepathic. There's not. You have to open yourself up and deprogram yourself from all your limiting beliefs that you've had your whole life. And you've got to learn to connect to the spirit side and your interior life, the interior higher self, your true self. All right, I hope that helped. Refer to this list whenever you need a reminder about how to go about connecting with a loved one. It's not difficult. It just takes time and dedication. And most importantly, belief on your part that it will work.